area will be January the 30th, so it'll be this Saturday in the downtown area. It includes portions of the surrounding neighborhoods. Please visit cityofpensacola.com to view cleanup map for details. Also, this event allows Pensacola sanitation customers to clean up. In the cleanup, they're eligible to put items at the curb for pickup. City of Sanitation Services will pick them up free of charge, but you need to be in the map area. So please visit cityofpensacola.com. If you're in the map, that will be on Saturday. We will be out picking it up. Just place it curbside, and we will take care of it. Secondly, some of you in the media saw I sent something out over the weekend. Again, we certainly are going to continue to try to do a better job of reminding people and also sending stuff to you. We need your help to remind people. We have holidays that the whole garbage cycle moves. I think everyone on my street had their garbage out on Thursday. I had sent an email where a gentleman was very irate that his garbage wasn't going to get picked up till Friday. But I tried to remind him that we told him that 2 weeks ago, but somehow or another, we're going to keep working on that, and any help that you could do for us in getting that information out to make sure people realize, when there's a holiday, we're trying to work around it. We hate having to do that, but we got another one coming up here in February for President's Day. And again, everybody will simply move down one. If it's not picked up, don't worry, we'll come pick it up the next day. The good news is we're not going to miss anybody. So again, we'll certainly work with you on that, and we certainly appreciate your assistance in helping us get that out there. We also have some town halls coming up. I know we will be shortly opening the Bayview Center here shortly. I know Representative Andrade and Councilman Moore have a town hall scheduled for the community center. It will be opening. We also have CPAC town halls that will be coming up. The Citizens Police Advisory Committee will host 2 town halls, provide the opportunity for Pensacola residents to share their thoughts on various topics, including relationships between community and Pensacola Police Department. These will be Thursday, February 4th at 6 p.m. at the Fricker Center, which is at 900 North F Street. And then also we will have one on Thursday, February 18th at 6 p.m. at Bayview Community Center, which is 2001 East Lloyd Street. So again, the chairman, we worked with him to talk about those 2 places. We get one on the west side, one on the east side. Members of the public may attend the meeting in person. However, they will be limited seating capacity, and face mask and social distancing will be required. The public is encouraged to participate in these meetings and let their voices be heard. There will also be virtual participation options that will be offered. The meetings will be live streamed on Facebook at facebook.com/Pensacola Mayor. The public may also submit comments and questions using the online form at the City of Pensacola starting Monday. That's next Monday, February 1st. So again, we want you to participate. And we certainly, if you can't come, we understand, and we want you to participate virtually. There will certainly be that opportunity, but we will be combining the virtual with this. I know that Casey and her department have been working with the CPAC committee, and they have got this ready to go. And again, I want to say that the decision came down that we're going to be able to do virtual with the 2 meetings. So we want you to be able to attend either one of those ones. Again, Thursday the 4th and Thursday, February the 8th. We'll be having those meetings. And then finally, next, I guess, Pensacola International Airport. We continue to see positive things happening there. The airport continues to remain ahead of national averages after impacts of COVID-19. Nationally, airports are continually to stay down 60 to 65%. To compare passenger numbers at Pensacola International Airport for the week January 17th through the 23rd, we're down 45% from the same week in 2020. And again, because of this, we see some new airline destinations being announced. Southwest Airline is adding 3 nonstop destinations to Pensacola International Airport. So we're getting more places to go. In March 2021, Southwest will add 3 nonstop destination services at Pensacola International Airport. These new destinations are Atlanta, Chicago Midway, and St. Louis. So March 11th and continuing through April 11th, Southwest will begin 1 daily flight to Atlanta, 1 flight to St. Louis on Saturdays, and 2 flights to Chicago Midway on Saturdays. We're excited to see the airport continuing to prosper even during COVID-19. We think these are, again, we've had multiple other airline services. They come in, they experiment with routes. We've seen almost all of them continue to stay and expand. Again, if it hadn't been for COVID, we thought we would have had a direct flight with New York. We continue to work with Newark. When we come out of COVID, we still think we'll be a viable option for that. So there are a number of great things happening at the airport despite COVID-19. We do have some lane closures I want to talk to you about. Temporary lane closure at Alkanese and Government Street. It will be January 26th, which is tomorrow. Drivers will experience a temporary lane closure and detour beginning Tuesday, the 26th at Alkanese and Government Street as construction on the Alkanese Street outfall to Pensacola Bay Stormwater Project treatment project. Eastbound traffic on Government Street will be detoured around the intersection, but westbound lane will remain open to through traffic. The detour is expected to remain in effect for approximately 3 days, weather permitting. Does look like we're going to have rain in the middle of the week, so it very well could be a little bit longer, but again, we're going to work as fast as we can to get this done. This is continuing the things we're doing to clean up our bay and our water bodies. Certainly we've seen improvements in Bayou Chico and Bayou Tahara, and we're not even finished all the way. This will also help with Pensacola Bay. So we appreciate your patience with us, and we'll get that as fast as we can back open. For any questions about the project, you can certainly contact City of Pensacola Public Works and Facilities at 850-435-1645. Also, Casey, I do believe that this is all on the work report that City has now that you can just go online and see on our website. So again, I'll let you confirm that. Also, want to talk with you. Last week we met with DOT. We had our virtual meeting. Good news, not necessarily bad news, but changes of news. Good news is, even despite some delays and some piles driving, they do believe they think there's enough time to catch up on things that they've got, and they've got 2 pile drivers out there for the bridge. So DOT's discussion with us is they still believe that the end of March is the time they can make on what they're doing. They've got 2 pile drivers out there, and again, they believe there's sufficient time, barring any unforeseen weather issues, that they can get caught up, and they continue to work on that. The good news is again, almost all the materials have been made and cast. It is now just simply putting them together and moving that forward. And the hardest part is the pile driving. So once the piles get done, it's fairly easy to set the beams. The concrete decking is really the finishing touch, but it's the easiest part on there. So they feel very comfortable that they can get the pilings done, set the trophies, that it all should be moving well. And again, they continue to think that's where we're going. There is a little bit of a change in news that we had in this week, and I just kind of want to begin to work with you on the assessment of what's going to happen. When the bridge reopens, it is likely that 17th Avenue, it's almost a certainty that 17th Avenue is not going to be open, and we're not going to have the roundabout finished underneath. Now, traffic can flow through, and right now, Derek and I are going to be meeting with their engineers to try to see some things we can do, but there will be a period that we'll be working with traffic around the area coming in to the landing. We may not have all options open immediately as they continue to work, and we don't even have a deadline at this point, but it was communicated to us that they do believe they can get the flyover to Gregory finished, and that's what we're shooting for, to take all that traffic over there to Gregory as it comes inbound. So again, we're working through this, and again, this would have happened if there had been no hurricane. This would have eventually happened at some point. We would have had this problem in dealing with the landing. So at least in some ways, most of the delay has been taken up while the bridge was down. And again, our whole goal is to get at least the traffic in and get it into coming onto Gregory Street, get that flyover done. So we're going to be meeting with DOT, and we continue to work on that, but we want to keep you updated and let you know what's happening at this point with the bridge. Boat ramp updates. City staff are working as diligently as possible with FEMA, and they control the schedule by their set processes, unfortunately. We are requesting some mitigation on every project to try to prevent future occurrences of these facilities being shut down when tropical events occur. Unfortunately, whenever we ask for or go through mitigation processes, is the smartest way to save ourselves in the future. But all of this slows down with the FEMA process. So again, many things are a few boat ramps that we're working on, most of the bulkhead, the places we're working through. We are trying to do everything we can with FEMA to mitigate and prevent further damage if we ever have another storm, which we know is not a question of if, it's a question of when. So we might as well do things now that make us more resilient, more able to come back, and we are going to keep working with FEMA on these things. But again, that takes time. FEMA is in the process of an environmental review, and the projects cannot move forward until this is completed. We don't have estimated times at this particular time, but we are working as fast as we can on every single project. And again, if we don't control the time process, which we don't sometimes working with FEMA, we wanted to be very upfront with you and tell you what's going on. We do have boat ramps that are workable, both Bayou Tahar and 17th Avenue are workable at this particular time, and they are usable. The other boat ramps that we have in the city, we will continue to work through the best we can. But at this time, until we can get mitigation through through FEMA, I don't know at this particular time when those will open. Certainly the one right there at Sanders Beach is one of the challenges of why that one is closed, and it will remain closed until we can get through this process with FEMA. We do believe the project as it comes up will be better built to sustain against damage in the future. And we believe it will be a better use of taxpayer dollars to make sure that we don't have repetitive loss in those circumstances, that we design whatever we do to make sure there's as little impact because of the storm, the next one. COVID-19. Again, we have a number of things out there. Our positivity rate still is hovering in that 10 to 18%. It would be better if we could keep it down, but we seem to be daily in that occurrence. But I will say some of our new case numbers have seen some decline, are leveling, and we've seen some decline in hospitalizations. We went from 261 on the 20th, 264 on the 21st, then 252 on the 22nd, 233 on the 23rd, yesterday 222, and today we're at 225, a slight increase, but still at 225. Just a week and a half ago, we were at 291. The Wednesday, right after our last press conference, we were at 291. So we are seeing some trends come down. We need to still continue to do measures that we can to protect ourselves, wearing a mask, washing hands. And remember, the mask ordinance is still in effect. The city council voted to extend it through February 25th, which requires face coverings to be worn while inside the city limits. So we continue to still work on that, and we ask for your patience and compliance with us. We can drive down these numbers. We've seen them come down almost 70 hospitalizations. So if we can do that again for the next week and a half, we will be in a much better place and we can keep moving forward. Vaccine, perhaps the most important thing. Florida continues to prioritize residents over 65 and healthcare workers for COVID-19. The state is working on distributing vaccines
public participation on the public input sessions last week for the police chief search?
I mean, it's challenging with COVID. I mean, I'll talk to Gary and we'll continue to keep it open and we'll make it available for anybody to be able to talk. But I mean, at the end of the day, we've tried to make it very open. We've tried to allow people to communicate, and we certainly realize the difficulty in the circumstances with COVID. But we've made every attempt to do that. We hope that people will take advantage of that. I know they're talking with some small groups of people, but we will continue to deal with that. And if people want to, if they want to make comments, please make comments. I mean, I try to continue to tell people this is not only about who the police chief is, this is about where we're saying to our police and our administrative staff what our priorities we see for the community. What do we see? And the best way to do that is to make your voice known. So, you know, I think we went through this process because we wanted to hear from people. So I hope they will take advantage. We've heard a number of complaints, but we hope people will take advantage. This is the same reason we're doing the CPAC, but we haven't seen as much outside impact. So we're looking forward to the 2 town halls. We understand how challenging it's been to provide information, but we will see with the 2 town halls, and maybe those things will be can be incorporated. Certainly on the one on the 4th, Gary won't be finished. If there are things that come open on the 4th, we would highly encourage you to participate in the CPAC. That's the one at Fricker Center. And from there, we can take any input and certainly get it to Gary. That won't be too late for him to, you know, the 18th session may be a little late, but I think on the 4th, we can still work with him on getting some of those input and comments in there. But, you know, again, we want to take as much information as we can. We certainly make it available. And I wish we were able to come together more. But unfortunately, where we stand in COVID, that probably won't be the case for probably the next 60 days or so.
This is from Andrew at News Radio. This weekend, I happened to see the graffiti and disrepair to the support underneath the monument to lost children. In the past, I've seen the Amtrak station and Bayview Bluffs stairs/walkover. I know it's difficult to combat, but can you talk about how the city does respond to graffiti and whether you think more should or could be done to keep city amenities looking nice? Should people call 311?
Anytime people should call 311. We certainly appreciate that. I think when you look at the challenge with the building, and we're still there with the train station, is we've got a group that we're working with, and they've got a number of years to collect their money. So at this point, seeing that we're just, it's not worth the city going and spending money. That's the whole purpose of who's taking that building. We've gotten to deal with them and move forward in that with the council. So we expect them to take care of that. That's part of their lease. But I realize they're still on the fundraising side, so it could be a little while longer at the train station. I saw your stuff this weekend. I made our staff aware of it. One of the challenges that we've got is we just have a significant amount of structural damage still on that facility. It's tough to know where we will be and what's going on. It's a very difficult part to placement of it and what's happening. I'm not sure, we may need to reevaluate sort of where that location is and in that monument, if it's workable in that location. Certainly with what we have in dealing with storms and everything else that we know. So we may have to evaluate where we go and what happens with that site. But overall, we'll continue to see what's going forward. And again, for the most part, the things you saw, and I saw your post down there, Andrew, nobody knew where any of that stuff was down there. And when things were where they were before the storm, obviously the storm has removed everything from there. So it's wide open. I think at some point it will naturally grow back. But I do love I saw Alan Gray responded to you with the Ish-Kush. You know, when we went out to British Columbia years ago, I think when the Winter Olympics were out there at Whistler, they had those all over the place. I know that they had them up there at Whistler. The stones you stack on top of stones. It's something very very indigenous to that part of the world. the people that were there. So I noticed people have been doing that even before the storm. But now that the storm has really cleared out the rocks, I noticed a ton of them out there. And I saw you had taken pictures of them. And, I love it. I think it creates, it kind of goes back to what, the Peter Kayama that I talked about, the public art we're about to put down there at Bartram Park. We don't like the spray painting. But I do like the little Ishkush. Those are kind of interesting, those rock formations, and they kind of create those quirky little emotional places that work. So while we do like the stone part, we're not so happy with the graffiti. We'll continue to work as we can. It's just a challenge. I mean, it's always one of the things, if we knew where the people were going to be with graffiti, this would be an easy thing to deal with. We'll certainly look in any ways we can. There are things you can do to perhaps make surfaces less receptive to graffiti. We can look at a variety of other things that we can do, but we will continue to work on that and see what we can do. So, but as far as that location, there are a lot of things with it, and I communicated to staff over the weekend after seeing your post, and they're telling me there's a significant amount of structural damage in that whole facility. And so this is one of the challenges and one of the things we have to look at, especially as we deal with FEMA for uninsured things and how we just turn out making it more resilient. And there may not be a way for us to make that area more resilient. It just keeps getting damaged, and we don't really want to deal with repetitive loss. So we're looking at evaluating a couple of things, but I did talk to Keith over the weekend about that.
This is from Laura at WEAR. Wondering if you had a number of how many city permitted events were affected by the restrictions announced last month, including any that had to scale back or cancel altogether.
I don't know, Laura. I know a lot of them went ahead and canceled anyways. I mean, certainly what you saw what happened with Mardi Gras, a number of other private events. What I'm finding is most people are canceling anyways, regardless of what the city says, one way or the other. From what we've done, our goal is hopefully when we can see that vaccines are making a difference and our numbers are coming down, we'd love to get those things back open. We last year in the budget, we budgeted for our community centers to be open this year in in Saturday. We have that done. We have a number of programs. We're working on things that are happening in our community centers, but we're not able to do any of those programs. So we've got a number of things. Our arts program at Woodland Heights. We're looking at a couple other things this summer at Fricker. So we've got a number of things that we want to be doing in community centers, and we can't get in there and do them because of COVID. So we're very hopeful that the vaccine is going to change that, so that by this summer we can really be more fully utilizing all these things that we have and really do the things we want to do. I mean, these are things I'd much rather talk about. I'm looking forward to the day when we can do programs, we can plan them, we can actually do them. And we can do it in a safe way that doesn't hurt anybody and take home any viruses to people's family. But obviously the challenges we're dealing with have really made it so that we haven't been able to as effectively deal with that. I hate that basketball has gotten postponed, but I mean, we had the same thing happen with baseball, same thing happened with soccer. So we're trying to work through these things and get back open to a regular life. But from our standpoint, I haven't seen a lot of people cancel events. I mean, say that the city canceled events. I've seen a lot of people cancel their events anyways because it's just been a challenge. I mean, we had a brief period in the fall where we were able to do some things when our numbers went down, and we were able to see. And now we're challenged and we have numbers back up. So my hope is we get to this spring, we find out the vaccine's working, and we can really open up and do everything that we want to do. That's what the city wants to do. I think that's what the public wants to do, but I think everybody is cognizant of just what it is with the virus. So I think this is a case in point. We're finally starting to see the numbers come down. It's not surprising that we're 3 weeks after Christmas, 3 weeks into the year, because I think people, once we got to New Year's, people started getting back to their regular routine, and we saw less contact, and then now we're seeing hospital numbers come down. So hopefully we'll see that happen further, and like I said, the vaccine hopefully will give us the ability to get back open, because I can't wait to get back open. That's what I want to do so bad. I'd much rather talk to you about the things we're doing positively and the impact in the programs we're making. We got a number of them out there. Brian Cooper does a great job, and he's ready to get going. But it's not Pensacola Parks and Recs that is preventing that from happening. That's all COVID-19.
This is from Jeremy at M Weekly. Can you talk a bit about the kayak launch that was put in at Bayview near the dog park? And also, when will the docks at Bayview's boat launches be repaired?
Back to what we talked about before, I think those fall in the boat launches where we have. We're working with FEMA, Jeremy. So again, as fast as we can get those open and back up, we're working with it. Staff is working with FEMA. We're working to make improvements, but everything we do, we want to do it in a way that makes it more resilient, so it doesn't have a damage the next time. So that's what we're working on, and I totally support our staff. I think they're doing a great job at making sure that whatever we do and whatever we put in is going to be the best it can be to prevent it from happening again. Part of that, though, requires us to work through the exercises with FEMA. We don't control those processes, but we certainly respect them and worked with them. And again, these are uninsured things. So for us, just to put our money into it would be fairly difficult. This is why we need FEMA and to work to move forward. So we think we can make all the improvements, but everything we're doing right now is just as I made the comments earlier in the press conference. We're working with FEMA, and there's no, we want to realistically set expectations that we don't control this process. We do believe ultimately what we will get will be in a much better scenario, but again, we can't control the timing of it, and we're working every day to press it as fast as we can. But that's one of the problems when you work with the federal government in the process. It just is not fast.
This is from John at Studio 850. Could you go over again how the city will determine to reopen March public events such as festivals?
John, we'll be making that decision probably by next Monday. We'll be looking at where our numbers are and what's the trend going forward. So, I think, and it may be a scenario where we're not able to do is again, we did this this summer. We would do it month to month. If you remember, we originally thought we were going to be, by the time we got to September, we were going to be wide open, and we thought we could open. And again, we ended up pushing everything back till October. So I think March could be very similar to September, where our numbers are starting to head in the right direction. They're starting to decline, but we're not to where we want to get to. So, I don't want to speak too early, but we got another week or two. But unless something really drastically happens and we start to get down to 100 hospitalizations rather than 225, it's going to be challenging. We'll probably end up doing like we did in September and pushing some things back as we move forward. But I mean, it's our whole goal to get things open as fast as possible. But I mean, this is what it is. 3 weeks ago, you were telling us why weren't we closing stuff, and why did we not close everything faster, and what did we do? And now all of a sudden we close it, and you want to know how fast we're opening it. So it's going to be dependent upon we're making judgments based on what local conditions are showing us. And right now at 225 hospitalizations, we still are a little ways away from that. And again, based on our conversations with hospitals, we don't expect to see vaccines make a significant difference until probably getting into March. So at this point, that's where we are. I would love to tell you, John, right now everything's going to be open in March, but again, that's what I want to do. But again, I don't know that we're going to get to that point that we're going to be able to do that with where our numbers are. So again, this is why we said, if everybody got serious about masks and everybody did all the things we needed to do, we actually could open some things up. But it's one of the problems that we're working with. we're going to keep pushing vaccines. We're going to keep pushing masks and what we can do, and hopefully we'll get the numbers down. And we'd love to open everything back up. That's what our whole goal is. That's what we're trying to do. But at this particular time, at this time, I don't see necessarily where city permanent events. Our biggest thing is we want to keep businesses open. That's more important right now than getting public sector stuff open. Let's keep businesses open. We've been able to do that through the summer. We've been able to do that through this run up. But let's keep those businesses open so everybody can keep working and doing what they need to do, and we'll get stuff going as fast as we can. Once we get our numbers down, we'd love to open back up.
And this is from Laura at WEAR. When will the search firm actually start putting together a list for the police chief position? Will it be after the town halls? And I do want to clarify, Laura, that the town halls you're referring to are just more general CPAC town halls. So we already had a couple of community input sessions for the police chief search. Those were the ones that were virtual last week. So just to clarify that.
Yeah. And again, that's sort of what Gary, when he met with both of the council last week and the CPAC the week before, is sort of put out, we're in that information collection period. It probably will last through the first week of February, which is why I said, even though it is a CPAC town hall meeting happening February 4th, there'd probably be enough time that Gary would be taking that information. He's going to go in, write the report, go ahead and advertise the position and have that available. So, all that will happen probably in mid February to probably mid-March, and then we'll start moving down on getting probably the process will probably close sometime in March, and they'll start the process of looking through all of them, make a first cut, then move down, and we'll have interviews that will be virtual interviews with probably some of the people who are selected a bigger list, and then eventually that will get whittled down to a smaller list who we will actually try to have some in-person interviews with. And the way we continue to work through the process usually is, I get involved when we get down to the last three and we have the local interviews. The team that's there typically oversees the beginning part of the process, all the other part, and also Gary will be involved with us during that whole time. Because Gary said very clearly, we don't make determinations. We help you. We put all the information together, but it's you that makes the, your team and then me in particular as we get down to the final three. So again, that's kind of our 3 or 4. Again, I don't want to say what the exact number is, but generally in the past in the process, that's what it's been. Is I've gotten involved when we get down to the very last group that has interviews, and it's typically 3 or 4 people, and we handle the interviews. So it wouldn't surprise me if we were somewhere that 3 to 5 kind of range in our finalists, and that would be a point where I would get involved and begin to do the last interviews.
All right, we don't have any more questions.
All right, well, thank you very much. I hope everybody has a good day, and it looks good. The weather looks like the sun's coming out a little bit, so should be a good day. I know we're gonna have a little rain later on in the week, but again, we'll be back out. Please remember the closures that we have, and certainly we appreciate all that the media does to help us get this information out. We want to be able to get it out to the public so that they know what's going on and don't run into anything that we have in our detours. But anyways, I appreciate it, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week.